क्या? Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh, and in this video we shall discuss the current affairs for today, 11th of April 2022. Welcome to all the participants here. Hi, all the people who have participated in answer writing. Kriti, Sam, welcome to you. Bhavani, Kim, welcome. Hello, Amlan, good evening. And other people, Ashish, Netra, Hima, welcome to all of you, and all the other people who are watching offline. Welcome to the current affairs for today. Hi Kanupriya, welcome. So what do we have today? Today we have me and all of you joining in for daily current affairs. Today is 11th of April, and today's quote: "The only impossible journey is the one we never begin." We or I never begin. And these are the journeys that we always thought we would begin someday, but we don't initiate. We keep thinking about it and we make plans, but we don't execute. This is where I appreciate people who respond, who ask if they have questions, who are curious enough, because they translate their dreams into actions. Dreams should not make you sleep. Dreams should make you work. And this is where that is the only impossible journey which we never begin. But then the examination, keeping that in perspective, पूरे साल भर मेहनत किया है, ठीक है, कम भी मेहनत किया है, it is around 2 months from now. If you put all your hard work, if you put in efforts, this is still doable. So do not worry, do not get anxious. If you are, don't worry about that as well. All is well, and keep asking, keep talking, keep speaking to the nearer dear ones. Start working 8 hours a day, that means studying, and then you will see that this will never be impossible. It will be possible, and you will begin and you will also finish this journey, right? So this is the journey of a warrior. If you like this initiative, show some love through likes, comments and shares. Let's begin to understand what we are going to study today. We are going to study three updates which are also present in the current affairs magazine today. RBI's Monetary Policy Committee, and what does this committee have to speak about? What are its objectives? The second one is Lookout Circular. We have studied this, but a quick update on this same thing again. The third is palm oil crisis in Indonesia, and is it impacting in Indian economy or not? Then we have some more terms. Khanjar. Now, which countries are participating in Khanjar? India with which country? And tell me the name of the country or its capital. Capital would be a little tough. Dove, hawk, or a pigeon. We'll understand this term also related to Monetary Policy Committee report. And then we have sanctions on Alrosa, one of the largest diamond mining companies in Russia, and sanctions have been imposed. Does it impact India? We will understand this. Lightning location, networks, and then Arogya Kunji as an important update on case study from Jharkhand. So let's begin this discussion. The first update is on RBI policy on monetary management in the committee. This committee, RBI's Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, it meets once in 2 months. And their prime mandate is to ensure that the inflation remains within margins, 4% plus minus 2%. That means if the inflation is higher than what is being expected, then inflation must be controlled, and it is RBI's prime mandate to do this. If the inflation is lesser than 2%, then RBI has to also help in ensuring that inflation remains in a bracket. That means there must be certain growth. So in case the inflation is shooting up, just like what is happening right now, we have studied this. Consumer price inflation also going above 6%, and wholesale price index inflation also exceeding 13%. Imagine, these are unimaginable. Both the level of inflation, supply side and demand side, both the inflation are going so high, and these are the times when the economy must be contained a little, right? So so this is where the economy must be contained, but then if there is lesser inflation, then the market needs to have some finances, some liquid money policy has to be introduced. Right now, since the economy is already expanded in the last 2 years because of COVID, because of extra distribution of money, social sector initiatives, expansion of economy, giving loans, etc. So there needs to be a control. But then has RBI done this? RBI has not done this. RBI has continued to maintain the accommodative stance. This is what RBI has been doing for the past quite few quarters. So in accommodative stance, RBI says we will not print more money, but we will keep injecting money in the market in case we need to have better growth in the country, because these are the times when growth is also impacted, and inflation is also getting impacted, right? Now see, when growth is also happening, inflation is also happening, there's some people who are facing the problems more than the others. For example, the marginalized persons, the people who are on daily wage, the people whose work is dependent on micro, small, medium industries, the people who are not working, right? So those people are affected more, and this inflation is striking them more. And this is where reducing the gap or providing social sector initiative, this is a major step. Now getting back, RBI has said that the inflation targeting, which it does, it has increased the levels of inflation it was expecting in the coming year. Now 4.5% was its previous prediction, but now it says that the prediction of inflation will be 5.7%. See, one thing to note, very important here, RBI, see, the prime mandate of monetary policy committee framework is that the inflation must be between 2 to 6%. And in case it is not so, the RBI has to, in a letter, write the reasons for the the decrease or increase in the inflation levels, and it has to take measures. It also has to put in writing what are the measures it has taken to change the issues, change the inflation rates. So right now, the present quarter, you people have already seen in this image, the inflation is above 6%. The next quarter, it has already predicted that they will be higher than 6% inflation rate, right? It is now the 3rd September, the September to October onwards, it will be telling what will be the levels of inflation, because in October they will be publishing the August, June, July, August inflation data, and that is when they will be able to take a call whether they should continue with the accommodative stance or they should start contracting the economy. Right now they have said that they will continue with the way economy is moving ahead. They will not be changing the repo and reverse repo rates. So let's understand further. First is they have increased the expectations of inflation. They say inflation will rise. And in the coming articles from Russia, in the coming articles from Indonesia, we will understand why inflation in India is destined to rise. So one, RBI expects inflation to rise. The second one is RBI expects the growth also to fall down for the country. So from expected 7.8% growth rate, RBI says the growth could be reduced to 7.2%. And by the way, the 5.7% of inflation that we are expecting and 7.8%, 7.2% of growth that we are expecting, the increased inflation and reduced growth figures, these are the most optimistic figures. The critics are saying that the inflation will shoot up, then RBI will have to write a letter. In case in 3 quarters the inflation exceeds 6%, it will have to write a letter explaining this situation and also explaining what stand it is going to take. Similarly, when the growth is getting reduced, it will not create jobs, right? There will be lesser profit for the companies, lesser profit margins. So the coming time is going to be a little tough for the for monetary management and for business development, both of it. And for people's social sector initiatives, another challenge. So this is where RBI says that we will maintain accommodative stance. We will not change the repo rate. We will not change the reverse repo rate, but they have also introduced a new term, new figure called as standing deposit facility. So let's understand each of them very quickly. See, the repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends money. RBI gives money to banks. It is unchanged at 4%. Similarly, reverse repo rate 3.35%. It has been unchanged. This is the rate. RR, reverse repo rate, is the rate at which the banks deposit money with the RBI and keep getting some interest. So RBI says we are not changing these rates right now because this might affect the market, but then they have introduced a rate called as standing deposit facility, SDF, and they have created this with a percentage of 3.75. They say that for very short term excess of money that you have, you deposit with us and we will give you higher rate of interest, higher than the reverse repo rate, higher than 3.35. we'll give it to you at 3.75%. This is called as standard deposit rate, and this will be the emergency 1 day, 2 day, 1 week level of the excess of money, and banks can gain more finances with this. See, you might and I might think that 1 week or very short term and such small rates of interest, will it actually affect? But when we deal with thousands of crores of money, thousands of crores of money with the banks, then this proportion of 3.35 and 3.75, even of over a week, this amounts to a huge figure. So therefore, this is a very important step through which RBI is indicating all the banks and institutions that I am ready to accept money and I am ready to give you more interest rate. And right now, the lending rates and the interest rates, they have not changed. But in due time, if inflation exceeds, then RBI will raise the repo rate. It might even raise the standing deposit facility later. It has already indicated, no, that it is going to have more interest in case you deposit money. So how is it good for you and I? Can you tell me in the comment section? If I want to take loan right now, is it good a time right now, or should I take the loan after the rates increase? Tell me this. If I want to take a loan from bank, is it good right now, or should I take later when the accommodative stance it removes, right? So this is what the RBI has said. RBI has also said that it will slowly be removing the excess liquidity in the market, slowly. But then if in 3 quarters it is not able to reduce the inflation figures, right, then it will have to definitely take a stand to quickly remove the excess liquidity. So this is the update from RBI's Monetary Policy Committee meeting. All right. Very important meeting, and people targeting this. See, many things strike at once. Whether it is RBI's policy stance, right now accommodative only, but then indicating towards some severity. Similarly, US Federal trying to take in the money back. Similarly, the times of inflation. So all the things hitting at the same time. When there's a bulls market, at the same time, all the parameters will conjoin in a jigsaw fit, and then during the stressful times, everything crumbles all of a sudden. See. So these are the indications for the future. All right. The second update is on lookout circular, and this gentleman is the chief of Amnesty International. Amnesty International from India, right? Representing Amnesty International from India, and he was stopped at Mumbai airport a couple of times, not once but twice. Saying that a lookout circular has been issued on his name by the CBI, by Central Bureau of Investigation. They would like to know if the person is going out of India or not. And in this case, they also want to stop that person from going abroad. So this is where we just will quickly understand the notices which are issued not by India but by Interpol, International Police, headquartered in Lyon, France. International Police is an association of all the police organizations around the whole world, and they operate to prevent any mishap happening around the world, share data, share information about people who are accused or are offenders, economic offenders, financial offenders, or terrorists, right? So some important notices, for example, red notice. It is like it is one of the most important notices issued against those people who are being seeked across the whole world. They have committed a crime, financial fraud, or some terrorist activities, and apprehend those people and then extradite them immediately. So this can be issued by, how it is issued is something like this. It is issued by one country and a person of the rank of SP, Superintendent of Police, in the police or in administration. If they are in position of a joint director, joint secretary in state government, or deputy secretary in the central government, they can issue these kind of circulars. So say around 5, 6, 7 years of experience, and after that you can issue this in case you are a police officer, SP rank officer, and this information will be further shared with Interpol, International Police, so that that person is apprehended anywhere throughout the whole world, whoever are the members of Interpol. And then they will be extradited according to the extradition treaty of the country, right? So if the person is moving in Barbados, they will still be pointed out, and then through Interpol, India will receive information about this. But then certain countries have got such treaties that we can't even extradite those persons, right? So those are the loopholes. The second one is blue notice. Blue notice to collect additional information about person's identity, location, activities related to crime. So in case the person is not to be apprehended, but their additional activities have to be monitored, oh, piche ek aadmi laga do unke. That also happens. If the person comes from abroad and they are suspicious, have a person sent just behind them. So blue notice. Then we have green notice, provide warnings and intelligence about person who have committed criminal offences are likely to repeat this. That person has committed a criminal offence in Gabon or Sierra Leone and they are coming to India. Also, it is possible that they might have been convicted or acquitted, either cases. But then Interpol has got information on them. They have not deleted the information. So they have said, they have given a warning. Keep noting about them, right? Similarly, black notice for unidentified bodies. So people who are no more about them. Similarly, yellow notice to locate those missing persons, right? Yellow notices are issued in case that person comes in front. So in the computer, once the passport is swiped, the yellow notice will be issued here, yellow colored notice. Orange to warn of a person or event representing imminent threat. अब पहले नहीं किया होगा, but imminent threat, possible threat in the future. So that is orange. And purple about operation of concealment methods used for criminals. All right, ignoring this. Let's expect red, yellow, orange, the green will be asked in the examination. Okay, so right now the update in the Gazette has been only about the gentleman and they are not being able to move out. But then see, there are cases in which LOC, lookout circular, when it is issued, it can be, see, even the government can be at fault. So right now the court has asked the CBI to ask for forgiveness from him and say that, it's a mistake, right? So this is what is the stand here. Delhi court asked the CBI director to tender written apology to former Amnesty International India chief Akar Patel after he was stopped from his US flight from Bengaluru airport citing a lookout circular issued against him. He said, his lawyer said that I have not done anything wrong. I have never been summoned by CBI. No case against me registered in any of the police stations. Why are you apprehending me? So in this case, they could have issued some different kind of LOC. Why do you want to issue not to move abroad via notice, right? Okay. So this is the update. The third update is on palm oil crisis from Indonesia. Palm oil, see, there are many kind of biofuel used, right? So many kind of biofuel, amongst them is sugarcane. If you remember, the first, second, third and fourth generation biofuel, there is a biofuel policy in 2018 and it speaks of first generation biofuel, right? Second generation biofuel, third generation algae, and then fourth generation production through biofortified and engineered products. First, second generation of biofuel would be utilizing the leftover biota or the sugar cane itself, right? Sugar cane and sweet potato, all those products will be utilized as biofuel. In Indonesia, since oil palm is excess in cultivation, they want to utilize oil palm as a biofuel for blending. When Indonesia itself is going through a situation where Indonesia needs more of biofuel, will it be able to export right now? It won't be. But India is dependent on the mineral oil import. Not only the petroleum oil, the refined or the raw material, raw crude oil, we also are dependent on other mineral oil. Even if you want to apply hair oil, even if you want to apply oil for food products, those are the kind of oil which come in the category of mineral oil, and we are dependent on all this. So India has been importing a huge quantity of mineral oil. Abhi sunflower crisis from Ukraine, from Russia, we had been importing this from Ukraine in excess, in a good number quantity, but then because of war, now that import has reduced and now we are dependent on the Latin American countries for sunflower oil import, right? Similarly, palm oil import has been happening from Southeast Asia, from Indonesia, one of the largest producers of palm oil. Yes, that is true that the palm oil issue is an issue for India because of multiple reasons. See, palm oil is, you people have, in your answer, you people have missed out on mentioning a couple of very important pointers. You've mentioned biodiversity, you've mentioned inflation, you've mentioned utility in Malaysia or Malaysia, issue, and biodiesel, biofuel. But then what about the growth? The growth time of palm oil is different as compared to the other oil. For example, if we have the mustard oil growing, it takes just one season, but the palm tree would take a lot of time to grow. Similarly, you people have mentioned biodiversity, absolutely, but then What about the productivity? Productivity of palm oil is higher. Productivity of palm oil is higher than many other oil, right? Productivity per hectare. So there are some shortcomings, there are some advantages. Therefore, India has also initiated its palm oil policy or indigenization of palm oil policy. Now see, this is the total demand of oil in the country. Edible oil imports are blue in color, these stars, and domestic oil consumption is only increasing with time. Population increasing, processed and processed food, deep fried food only increasing with time. And during COVID times, the last 2 years, it has decreased. You know why? Because people have started to cook home cooked food. Now we know that we can still survive even if we don't get burger and cheese potato, right? Isn't it true, guys? We know, but then import also drastically had reduced during those times. But post-COVID, supply chain issues, disruptions, import-export issues, container crisis and all, and now crisis in Ukraine, and you see the side effects of this. India has been self-dependent on rice and wheat, but look at countries in Africa, look at Afghanistan, half the population only looking at surviving the whole day, right? So this is the crisis that India faces in case of oil seeds, and the prices of 1 liter of these mineral oil, it was like 120 rupees, 130 rupees beforehand, and now it is exceeding 200 rupees in the market. Pata karo jara, pata karo. So this is the kind of inflation. How will the poor person be able to survive on this? The fuel inflation has increased over 10% in the last month. 10%. This is not the rate at which the annual fixed deposit interests are given to people. Imagine this. Fixed deposit interest are given at 6%, and this is almost double the number, and we are expecting more of inflation for fuel. And see, this is only the first level inflation now. That is the price of petrol or diesel purchased. But what about the other products which are dependent? Every product is dependent on mobility. So every product's price will rise, and there will be a cascading effect, snowball effect on the prices. Imagine. So effective price rise will be far higher in the coming times. So RBI is saying this. So RBI is saying inflation will be high in future times and growth will be low in the times to come. Very dangerous times going to come. But then this is where you should have the positives as well. I have been speaking repeatedly of the positives. So save food, right? 30% of food is wasted. It happens with oil food as well, all of it, right? Start using greener modes of production, right? Start having those kind of production which are indigenous. So make in Bharat, make in India. These are some ways you should, I say, whenever you see a problem, solution should be in your mind as future civil servants, right? So when you see the import of the fuel, it has only risen, right? The demand has increased and the import has risen. This is what I wanted to explain. Edible oil import of 2020-21, $17 billion, and per change on year, 65% change, high increase. It is because the last year was COVID year, right? So vegetable oil imports, a very, very important factor for India's agriculture and future. All right. Okay, looking at the comments quickly. Okay. Yeah, Kyrgyzstan. Bishkek is the capital of Kyrgyzstan. Moving ahead to the today's one of the important images. This day in history dedicates to the formation of International Labour Organization, ILO, and that is why today is one of the editorials which will get published in a short while offline. I mean, it will get published online. But then this editorial talks about the care economy. International Labour Organization formed on 11th April 1919. This is the time when World War I ended, and this is one of the first organizations to have joined the United Nations, right? Well, even formed before the formation of United Nations, right? And India was one of the founding members of ILO. So accordingly, ILO had published a report called as Care at Work report, Care at Work. and we will cover that report sometime. That was in the list. But then today's editorial very well mentions what this Care at Work report is about. Do have a look at that editorial. It will be published in a different video. You will receive that update, right? So this day in history dedicated to International Labour Organization. Now getting to terms, some important terms being used lately. So three terms have been used lately. The terms are dove, hawk and pigeon. So this is a hawk and this is a dove, and there's something in between, pigeon. Yeah. So let's understand what these things are. All these relate to our central banks or the bankers, right? Those people in power or those central banks. For example, Reserve Bank of India, Central Bank of various countries. So those people or those persons, those institutions which are sensitive to rate changes, to changes in the market, and they want to change the rate immediately, they are the hawks. They are on a lookout for issues, problems, and then they would immediately escalate the rates, right? For example, they are seeing that inflation is happening and the whole market economy is, the money is hot, growth is happening, but then inflation is happening. There would be hawks and they would immediately hike the rates. They would be called as hawks, a term used for them, right? Similarly, the people who are passive, like chalo dekhte hain, accommodate karte, let's accommodate further, right? They wouldn't increase the rates immediately. They are the dove. And people who are in the middle of both of them, they are the pigeon, right? So this can be very well, it can be transferred to India's situation as well, right? So India is not increasing the rates. India is also not saying that they will not increase the rates. So they are not even dove, somewhere in between, middle path of Buddha, the land of Buddha, Jaina and important persons. All right. Oh, by the way, you people did not talk about, I had a question and you people did not answer that question. The question was, if I want to take loan from the market, should I take right now or should I take after the rates are hiked? The answer to this question is, I must take the loan right now, because after some time the rate will be hiked. Interest rate everywhere for depositing in bank will increase. If I take the loan right now, I will get loan at lesser value. RBI has indicated, and possibly there will be no more accommodative stance. It will immediately start to control the inflation, because it will be liable to do it after three successive quarters. When RBI is not able to control the inflation, then it will have to in writing mention what stand it is taking to control inflation, right? So right now it is not acting like a hawk, but then it might have to act like a hawk. See? All right. What is this about? This is about diamond mining. Diamond mining happening in Russia, one of the important countries. Gems, jewels, import and all happens. No, what is it? An export of gem jewels. Are we consumers of gem jewels? We might be, but we export a lot of it. What do we export? We export the processed diamonds, the processed, clearly cut diamonds. Surat, what is it called as? Diamond capital of India or the world? So Surat is a very important destination where diamond processing happens. But are diamonds mined in India? No, we mine it abroad. They are imported and then they are processed here, and after that they are exported all around the world. We import from a very important stakeholder. That stakeholder's name is Alrosa, and this is a organization, a state-owned company in Russia, a very important company, and now America has also sanctioned this organization. Now, if they have sanctioned this organization, sanctions are such that nobody can trade with them. You can't trade in dollars with them. There are many issues, hurdles in trading with those companies which have been sanctioned. So when Alrosa has been sanctioned, India's import of diamonds, which is a major chunk of the gems and jewelry processing, major chunk is diamond itself, and exporting back, this will get impacted. And many people who are in the gems and jewelry business, millions of people, lakhs and lakhs of people, many of these people are in diamond processing, diamond cutting, polishing, all this, right? So that is how India's, see, so earlier when we were speaking of oil, palm oil, when we were speaking of sunflower oil, when we were speaking of petroleum products, all of them, bottleneck in supply. And now we have diamonds are also joining the group. See, so this is not only the impact of war, this is the impact of the strategies around the world. Very poor, very poorly driven, and going to impact everybody, not only India, but other countries in the developed world. So this is the news from India and Russia relationship. India, Kyrgyzstan, meanwhile, conducting an exercise 9th time, and this exercise are called as the Khanjar exercises. This time these were held in India, so alternately being held in either of the countries. Capital of Kyrgyzstan, Bishkek. Do look at the 5 Central Asian countries, but more than Central Asian countries, this time if you look at mapping, what becomes important is the East European countries, and which are touching the Baltic region, or which are the ones which are around Black Sea region. Very important this time. If you want, I will create a video on the same. So Kyrgyzstan India exercises called as Khanjar. See, these 5 Central Asian economies, the least participant of them is Turkmenistan. So just like India was a non-aligned country, Turkmenistan until of late has been a country not participating with any stakeholder. It was not even a member of SCO until very lately. It has not been member of many organizations. So they only try to participate in bilateral exercises or bilateral treaties. Multilateral organizations and all completely non-aligned. Okay. Now I'm not talking of Turkmenistan right now. This is Kyrgyzstan. So Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, this is the way we remember them. Okay, moving ahead. Okay, what is the case study of today? Today's case study is on Arogya Kunji from Jharkhand. This is a very beautiful case study which talks about the workers, the people working in health field, and they carrying a kit bag with them. A kit bag which is costing around 1700 rupees, and in this kit bag they would contain all the things which are required for making other women their daily necessities of medicine available. So medicine will be available in this kit. There will be contraceptives available. There will be sanitary pads available in this kit. Now these are the items which the poor people are not able to access by themselves. This is out of pocket expenditure, right? Poor people not able to access, and this is where contraceptives provide female the right to choose what is their choice over family planning. Similarly, having sanitary pads help them with making their health better. So we will have lesser mortality, lesser morbidity, lesser mortality. Medicines help not only the females but their whole family. And this is where in Jharkhand, the district of Chatra, this initiated the scheme of Arogya Kunji. 1700 rupees kit, carry it along with yourselves, and women in need distribute them, right? And they have distributed more than 1200 kits in Chatra itself. So imagine the impact of such welfare programs. I was reading at a place and it mentioned very clearly that women during the times of distress, during the times of social distress, very simple example of social distress is a war, civil war or international war. These are the times when women do not have more rights on themselves. This is the time when there is more violence against women, more domestic violence, lesser rights over their own body. There will be forced torture, there will even be rape, marital rape. All these are very common, and this also leads to higher childbirth during these times. Imagine. So today's case is on Arogya Kunji. Now we have taken a major initiative here. That is that the discussion here, the live discussion, will be made more crisp. You can see this evolution happening, right? There is a baby who is growing and you can see this happening in front of you. It is your inputs, it is the input of all the people around which is making this better with time. And I have started giving the editorials in offline mode, right? So 2 to 3 editorials will be given to you in the first half of the day, possibly in the first half of the day, and they also will have questions. So 2 to 3 editorials, if you see, 2 editorials have already been given for today, and their question on that, I would like you to comment in that section. After reading that editorial, apply your mind, just 30 seconds, and then you will be able to engage better. And you would see that the quality of these editorials is well researched and well published. So I'm sure you would be able to appreciate that. You can view them in your time, but it would be great that if you also participate there, right? So editorials and opinions there, and the factual content which we pass on daily right here. All right. So this is how we will engage live, and we will also be able to engage whenever you want in the offline sessions. All right. So we will quickly move to what section? The feature news section. All right. Diamond City of India. Thank you, Netra. 72% of out-of-pocket expenditure. Great, great, great. So now, Ashish, Amlan, Bhabani, all of you, if you like this initiative and all the other people viewing offline, if you like this initiative, show some love through likes, comments and shares. And we will quickly meet in the second video, that is the feature video, in a very short while. All right. And inputs, everybody start pouring in inputs so that there is improvement. This is your time. This is your current affairs, and it's you who is to steer and guide how it has to be held. All right. And the answers that you have provided here, very good, very good. You people have actually crossed a barrier after having been a part of this initiative for quite a few months, 3, 4, 5 months. There is a barrier that seems you've already broken, and you well crossed that threshold beyond which there is a quality reflecting in your inputs. So keep doing this work and you will keep seeing that the confidence level only rises with time. So let's quickly meet in the other video that is on the feature news, that is on India and Nepal relationship. Thank you for watching. Comments and questions, please put them down. Any feedback, inputs, offline students, please put in the comment sections. I will get back to you. Thank you for watching.